everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. And welcome to another Harry Potter speed build, because today we're doing another speed build from my Harry Potter series. You may know that I have done over the past few months, I want to say, or like month or so. I think I started this in December. I've done some builds from the Harry Potter series or inspired by the Harry Potter series. Of course, I'm not recreating them one-on-one from the movies or anything, but I am trying to get kind of close to that. So that's what we're doing today. And for today's speed build, we're working on Shell Cottage, which is actually not featured a whole lot in the movies. They're only there for a short amount of time, but I feel like it is such an iconic build. It is so like magical and whimsical and cutesy looking, and just the most fun thing to kind of try to recreate here in The Sims. It was definitely kind of challenging, but I had a lot of fun trying to recreate this. And this one actually didn't come to mind when I was kind of thinking of which builds from Harry Potter I would like to cover. Someone actually suggested this on another video. They were like, you should do Shell Cottage. I think that would be really cute. And I just thought that that was such a fun idea. It really did not come to mind at first for me personally, but I'm really glad someone actually suggested it because I thought it was such a fun and creative idea and just so much fun to do. And I definitely had to step out of my comfort zone for this one a little bit with the roofing and trying to make it look all like whimsical and magical. You can kind of, I mean, you can definitely sort of see that it's very similar style-wise to the Burrow, but also to Hagrid's hut in the sense that, again, it's just very whimsical. The roofs are kind of like pointy and crooked a little bit and like sloped and just like, it's kind of different. And that's just so much fun for me. And it's definitely out of my comfort zone as well. But I had so much fun building this. As you can probably tell, we're building this in the world of Windenburg on the island. I know that Windenburg isn't actually situated by the ocean, it's by a lake, but still I just really liked this beachy lot here. You're literally on the beach, not all the way, because as you can see, it's not a sandy lot or anything, but you can really see that in front of the build. It's definitely connected to the water and it's just like a very beachy coastal looking area. And I liked this better than the beachy lots that we have in Brindleton Bay. We actually kind of have one lot that could have worked for this in Brindleton Bay, and I thought that was pretty, but it's a little bit farther away from the actual beach as opposed to this lot, which is basically on the beach, and there's a literal like road right in front of that lot. And I know it's not really a problem because it is The Sims and you just gotta pick and choose what you want to work with, of course, and also you can't really see the road because it's in front of the lot. But I don't know, I just really liked this more secluded little area in Windenburg a little bit better for this specific build, so that's why I chose to build it here. I will make this lot more sandy and beachy, of course, when I am going to do the landscaping in a little bit here. You'll see that I use a lot of terrain tool or terrain paint to make it very sandy and to just really try to tie it in with the rest of the beach to the best of my abilities. I actually also use a little bit of terrain tool for that same reason. I just kind of wanted it to look a little bit more like dune-like, a little bit more hilly as opposed to just like flat all the way. So that's what I tried to do, and I really think it worked out nicely. I've been having so much fun with the terrain tool lately. I don't know why, but all of a sudden it kind of hit me that I just really enjoy working with terrain tool and kind of trying to make houses look a little bit more like on hilly terrain, or I've actually been working on like a split level type home using terrain tools as well, which is the next speed build coming to my channel, but that's a completely different house and a completely different style, but that's something I've been working on. So yeah, I don't know, I've just been really enjoying using the terrain tool, making everything a little bit more hilly and less flat. And that's what I did for this one as well, again, because I wanted it to look a little bit more like it was close to the dunes and just like, I don't know, just a little bit more hilly, I guess. So that's what I did, and I feel like it really adds to the personality and just like the style and I guess whimsicalness of this house, and I just really enjoy it. I will say that landscaping becomes a little bit more difficult when you do use a lot of terrain tools because, annoyingly enough, a lot of the plants don't really want to snap to the terrain anymore if you've manipulated it, if it's like higher or lower. So yeah, it's kind of like the tool mod definitely is a godsend when it comes to that. Like I really cannot landscape without the tool mod anymore these days. So yeah, that was definitely, that came to the rescue for me for this one specifically. But yeah, I don't know. I just really like how it ended up looking. And so Shell Cottage, let's talk about it a little bit. I also know you may be yelling at your screen because I forgot to paint one of those dormers. I forgot to put wallpaper on it, but I fixed it. So I did see that later on, thankfully. So Shell Cottage. Okay, so a little bit of the lore for this house specifically. It isn't featured in the movies or books all that much. It is actually a cottage that belongs to the Weasley family. I think it belongs to one of the Weasley children's aunts, Aunt Muriel, if I am saying that correctly. I could be lying, but I think that's who this cottage actually belonged to. And at some point, Bill, so Ron's, I think Bill's the oldest brother, or maybe not the oldest, maybe Charlie's the oldest brother, actually. I'm not exactly sure, but in any case, Bill Weasley actually moves into this cottage with his wife Fleur after they get married. In the 7th book, actually, they get married, and then after that they move here. So it belongs to the Weasley family, and Bill and Fleur move here. That's when it kind of is introduced to the series as we know it. And then it actually also acts as a little bit of a safe, well, not a little bit, it's a safe house for the members of the Order of the Phoenix. And as you may recall, if you're familiar with the books and the movies, this is actually the place where Dobby died, so that's really sad. We kind of, I say we because we were building this over on Twitch, but as I was building this and landscaping this, I definitely decided that I wanted to have a little bit of a grave moment for Dobby because he was put to rest here. So yeah, we definitely had to represent that part of the story here as well. And so yeah, that's what we did. Every time I watch the movies or read the books, you know the feeling like when you know how the story goes, you know how the movie goes, but every time you watch it or read it, you hope a certain thing doesn't happen. That's Dobby's death for me. Every time I watch the movies, I really hope that Dobby survives, and then he never does. It's so sad. I just hate it so much. So yeah, we definitely had to represent him and pay our respects to Dobby for this, in this build, of course. So that's what we did. But yeah, so this house acts as a safe house for the members of the Order of the Phoenix. I am completely clueless on how they fit all those people in here at some point. I think the first time it's sort of mentioned in the stories is when Harry, Ron, and Hermione are out looking for the Horcruxes. At some point, Ron just can't take it anymore. They get into a big fight. Ron just kind of runs off. And at some point, he actually stays with Bill and Fleur in this cottage for a little while before he makes it back to Harry and Hermione and tells them about this house. So that's when it's introduced kind of in the stories. And then later on, when Harry, Hermione, and Ron have to run from the Snatchers, they were basically caught by some Snatchers. They were brought to Malfoy Manor. They were being interrogated. Bellatrix Lestrange was there. She was torturing Hermione. You know, that whole ordeal. At some point, Dobby obviously comes to their rescue, and they apparate to Shell Cottage, and that's, of course, when Dobby dies as well. But then the Order of the Phoenix, or the Golden Trio, and also some other members. I think Luna was rescued with them as well. Griphook is there. Ollivander is there. I think in the books, Dean stays here for a little while as well. So there's a lot of people staying at this really tiny cottage for a significant amount of time. And I honestly don't know where they leave all these people. I ended up putting, I think, 4 bedrooms in this cottage though, which I think is pretty nice. It's only small, but it's more spacious on the inside than you would expect looking at it from the front. I definitely added a significant bump out to the back that you can't really see when you're looking at this house from the front, to add a little bit more space to it. I do feel like in reality, I say that in air quotes because what is reality for this one? I do think they would have an attic, because as you can see, they have a bunch of dormers on this house, and there would definitely be like a really tiny attic of some sorts up there where you could probably put another 2 people, like just in some very uncomfortable little beds. I feel like that would definitely be a thing. The way this house is built and like the way what we're able to do basically in The Sims. I wasn't able to put an attic in this house the way I built it, so it's not there, but we can just kind of pretend that there's probably somewhere there's like some pull-out ladder, you know, coming from the ceiling, where you can just kind of climb up to a really tiny attic where you could put another 2 or 3 people. I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Or it's one of those magical things, you know, how they have those magic tents that just look like regular tiny tents, but then they're somehow altered with magic, and they're really huge tents. When you actually enter them, there's like multiple bedrooms and bathrooms and stuff like magically just in the tent. Maybe that's what's going on here in this cottage as well, something like that. I mean, it's the Wizarding World, there's magic involved, literally anything is possible. So yeah, that is Shell Cottage, and that's a little bit of the lore for you. I think that, or I don't think that, I know that Harry, Ron, and Hermione actually stay here after they were rescued by Dobby from the Malfoy Manor. They stay here for a little bit, planning their trip to Gringotts because they want to get into Bellatrix's vault. So they plan their trip there basically with Griphook, who's there as well, and then obviously Griphook is not very nice, and then, you know, that whole thing when they go over to Gringotts. And I feel like you probably know all this if you are familiar with Harry Potter, but yeah, that's when they stay here and like they plan their trip to Gringotts and how they're gonna get into the vault of Bellatrix Lestrange with the help of Griphook. So yeah, that's what happens here. Obviously Ollivander is here, and Ollivander eventually tells Harry about the Elder Wand and stuff like that as well. So a lot happens here, but it's only for a short amount of time actually, that, especially in the movies, like in the movies it's over in a flash. You barely see this cottage. In the books, obviously everything takes a little bit longer and it's not as rushed, so they actually spend a pretty significant amount of time here. But yeah, in the movies it's not really portrayed as such, which makes sense because, you know, it's a movie, not a book, and everything just has to go a little faster. But yeah, that's Shell Cottage for you. That's a little bit of the lore and how it ties into the story. I know that in the books and in the movies, it's described as a cottage that is literally, well, not built out of shells, but it has shells. Literally, the house is covered in shells. All the walls, what you see now as brick, like for the build that I did, in the story is like it's all shells. It's embedded in shells, basically. I didn't do that. I could have probably done that because there are shells in the game. You can see that I sized up a few and I tooled a couple of shells to the facade of the house because I just thought it looked cool. And I mean, obviously we had to put some shells on the house, so I did that. Maybe with Tool Mod, there's probably a way to literally cover the entire cottage in shells, the exterior of it. It's probably possible. I decided not to do that because that would just be a little bit too overwhelming. So I just went for like a stone or brick on the exterior that kind of looks like shells and is like the same color sort of. So that's what I went with, but it's definitely not all the way covered in shells. But yeah, I did put some on the exterior. I also put a bunch of wind chimes on the exterior as well. I thought that was very fitting. I think it's described to have a lot of wind chimes everywhere too at some point. So yeah, I had to do that, of course. And then for the rest, the interior is very coastal. Color scheme wise, I went for a lot of neutrals and sand tones. Basically, I was just kind of thinking of sand the entire time when I was decorating this, and then I wanted to obviously just, you know, use a few pops of color here and there. So I tried to work with some pastel tones. I thought that would be really nice. I used some pastel blues, some pastel pinks as well. And then for the rest, just a lot of light wood tones. I thought this flooring was absolutely perfect. This flooring, I believe, is from the Spooky Day stuff pack, especially in this like sand washed sort of like coastal light wood tone. It's just so perfect for the vibe of this house. So that's what I went for. And as I've been doing for basically all my Wizarding World builds, I'm just going for somewhat of an older interior that's definitely showing a lot of wear and tear and is just like, you know, kind of mismatched and just very worn and older, but very cozy. I was definitely trying to make this house feel very homey and cozy and inviting and actually like a safe house, you know, like you want to stay in this house and you want to feel like you're in a safe place, you want to feel comfortable and somewhat cozy. That's kind of what I tried to capture here. It's definitely a sister build to the Burrow in that sense. That's what I was trying to go for in any case. So the floor plan for this house is kind of wacky, but I feel like if there is any time I can get away with a wacky, weird floor plan, it would be for a Harry Potter build. So that's what I did for this one. And that's also just how it worked out, because the shape of this house is kind of odd. I mean, it's kind of just like a box, but then there's a bump out in the back, and I wanted there to be a lot of rooms because I wanted there to be at least some areas for Sims to sleep. Like, I wanted there to be a couple of bedrooms at least, and I wanted everything to be very closed off. I felt like that would be the way to go for this house specifically. So that's what I did. So essentially, you have the front door, and then you kind of walk into this kind of spacious hallway with a staircase at the end. And then at the front of the cottage, there are 2 bedrooms, one of them being an extra bedroom, the other one being another extra bedroom, but then that one's also a little office space with a desk. But then here in the back, essentially, is where we have an archway going into the really crammed and tiny living room. I wanted this to be very crammed and small, and I feel like I succeeded. We definitely do have a fireplace in here. I thought that would be very cozy. It would definitely add to the just like warm, inviting vibes that I was going for. So that's what I did. So we have a really small living room in here with this couch from Werewolves. I don't think I've ever used this specific swatch for this couch from Werewolves. I always go for the like darker aesthetic whenever I choose this couch, but obviously for this house specifically, I was going for lighter tones and like sandy, beachy, coastal vibes. So that lighter beigey color was absolutely perfect for this couch in this living room. So that's what I did. I also, again, as I have been doing for these Harry Potter builds, I used a lot of Werewolves items and also a lot of horse ranch items. So those kind of just match perfectly. And a lot of those items also come in just swatches that definitely show a lot of wear and tear and that are a little bit older looking. So that was absolutely perfect for this build. So yeah, as you can see, the floor plan already is kind of weird. I'll show you at the end of the video when we do a tour of the place. But yeah, there is a small hallway off of the living room, kind of leading you into both the kitchen and then also the tiny dining room. And I really like this kitchen. It turned out so cute and definitely kind of cluttered. When I was playtesting this, I did have to make some adjustments to this kitchen. For example, I left a countertop free of decorations where I actually placed that taller cabinet, and that taller cabinet actually prevents the countertop from being usable. So I had to swap that out, of course. So that's what I did. And then I also had to mess around with a little bit of clutter in here because as I was playtesting it, for some reason, oh goodness, it was so annoying. For some reason, the fridge was not functional and I couldn't figure out why. I thought maybe it was the clutter on top or I don't know, the clutter next to it, but it wasn't. It turned out to be the lavender that I had placed on the outside that I placed too close to the wall. It was kind of like merging with the wall and like with the foundation. And I had placed it too closely to the house and that was blocking the fridge from being functional. It was so annoying. I'm so glad I figured it out though. So I actually didn't have to get rid of all the clutter, but I definitely moved stuff around a little bit in the process before uploading this. So yeah, in the kitchen here, I tried to make it look a little bit more magical because up until now, the build actually looks kind of normal in that sense. It doesn't look like a wizard's home per se. So I definitely in the kitchen try to sort of add some more magical touches to it. So we have a really tiny cauldron here, or not, it's not necessarily very tiny, but it's tiny in comparison to the one that came with Realm of Magic. And I definitely did not have the space for a giant cauldron anywhere in this house or on the lot. So I decided to just go for a really small one in the kitchen. Maybe they have some tea brewing or whatever is going on. Maybe that's, oh wait, actually, maybe that's the potion brewing for, the Polyjuice potion brewing for Hermione when they want to go to Gringotts and when she impersonates Bellatrix Lestrange. That's probably what's going on in that cauldron over there. I'm just now realizing that. But yeah, for the rest, I am cluttering it up. We just have a little bit of produce going on. I also placed some, other potions, and I think I also put a wand in the kitchen here because obviously we have to scatter a couple of those around in different places. I also went through later on and put some brooms on the walls. I think I actually didn't leave that part of the footage in because it was very messy, but I did go through and place a couple of brooms on the walls here and there to really make it come to life and make it look a little bit more magical and stuff. So here in this tiny room on the side is where we put a dining room. I really like this blue tile. I barely ever use this specific tile that I'm using on the floor, but I think it's so nice. I just love that darker grayish blue compared to all the, or in combination with all the lighter wood tones and the beigey tones that we have going on. So that was really nice. I think that tile on the floor is actually from the Country Kitchen kit, which was the very first build kit that we got actually years ago at this point. And I really like it. I just, for some reason, never use it, but I thought it was perfect for this house. So I was glad I found a use case for this specific tile that I chose in this house. And then here I was cluttering up the dining table a little bit. Someone in chat, one of my friends, suggested we should put the tiny miniature like Eiffel Tower figurine. It's a debug item. I think it's a clay. It's like a molded clay item. And it's so perfect because obviously we have to represent Fleur in this house, and Fleur is actually from France. So that little Eiffel Tower, clay little Eiffel Tower thing was such a perfect little touch to add. So I placed that one on the dining table. I also put the owl statue on the table to kind of represent an owl bringing in the mail. I thought that was really cute, so we have that there as well. And I think I actually repeated that Eiffel Tower statue in Bill's and Fleur's bedroom upstairs too, to kind of represent that that was their bedroom. I thought it was just the most perfect item to include in this house. So I had to repeat it at least, like I had to use it at least twice, so that's what I did. Then after we did the really small dining room and the really tiny half bathroom, or actually no, it's a full bathroom downstairs, we have this guest bedroom downstairs that has a double bed. The theme for this one, or the color scheme for this one's blue. As you can tell, I'm using a lot of lighter, like pastel blue and a lot of horse ranch. We're using a lot of candles and just like little collages of tiny pictures and stuff and books and just the coziest little clutter items. I kind of have my set like collection of clutter that I like to use for these Wizarding World builds because there's only so many items that really work for that. So I kind of have my like werewolves clutter items and like my candles and stuff that I like to use that I kind of repeat throughout these builds. But I feel like that's okay though, because I do try to use them in different colors for each build and stuff. But yeah, I feel like the werewolves clutter just looks really cute here, and the Realm of Magic artwork. I really wish that Realm of Magic would have come with a little bit more art pieces, because the few art pieces that we have are so cool. Like they're so characteristic and so unique, and the frames that are used are just so pretty looking. But unfortunately we only have a couple, so yeah, I had to repeat those a few times. But yeah, this is just a double bed, like full on bedroom. At first I was thinking that this could be for Bill and Fleur, but then I actually realized I wanted them to have the bedroom upstairs, or one of the bedrooms upstairs, because it was a little bit bigger than this one. So this could be a nice guest room, and then their bedroom's going to be upstairs. The second floor is actually more spacious than you would expect. I was able to put 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom up there. The landing is really tiny. Like the landing is a 1 tile wide little hallway. Like it's definitely very cramped, but what are you gonna do with a landing? You know, it's honestly fine. It doesn't need to be big. So yeah, the second floor was definitely more spacious than I thought it would be. So that was actually nice. And then here downstairs on the other side, like opposite the guest bedroom that I just decorated, we have another room, and I was gonna turn this into just an office space at first, but then I was like, no, that's a waste of space because we need all the beds we can get in this house. So I decided to just put a small desk in here and turn it into an office. But then I was also able to put a single bed in this room, and I'm kind of repeating that same color scheme that I used for the other bedroom downstairs. So there's a lot of lighter blue tones in here. I really do like the matching bed sheets for the beds down here. I feel like that would be such a Fleur thing to do. Fleur would just love to make the house cozy and use all the cutesy matchy blankets everywhere, and we have a lot of matching curtains just in different colors. So yeah, she would definitely make it really cozy and use a lot of pastel colors. You'll see that in their bedroom. I basically just made it pastel pink. That would not be Bill's color of choice, but I feel like Bill literally doesn't care. He's just like, okay, you do you decorate these rooms. Like I really do not have an opinion on this, because I I know it makes you happy to go crazy with all the pastel colors. So essentially that's basically what happened in this cottage, and I feel like it's just so fitting for the style of the house, and it makes it look so cozy, even though it's very old and kind of you know, sort of like it needs some love and it needs some renovations maybe in some areas, but that's what adds to like the magic whimsical touch of it all, I feel. So up here we have a really tiny landing. As you can see, I really didn't have the space to place anything there other than just a nice tapestry on the wall and some lights. And then this bedroom here on the left is going to be the one for Bill and Fleur. I love this bed with this specific bedding from, I think it's from Horse Ranch actually, and I just think it's so cute. I love the pastel colors and the flowery pattern on the bedding. It's so cute and definitely something Fleur would pick. I feel like I don't know Fleur's personality that well, like I don't know the character that well, but I feel like this is what she would be into. So we have a couple of decorations here, some tiny shelves by the bed where I again use that little Eiffel Tower clay figurine, and then we just have some matching nightstands and a nice mirror, some hanging plants. So it's definitely very whimsical looking, but like very cutesy and cozy. So that's what I went with. I thought that the white and gold curtains would be really cute in this bedroom. It definitely would make it look a little lighter and more fresh. I also placed a vanity table in this bedroom because I feel like if anything, Fleur would have a vanity. I feel like that is just such a Fleur thing. Her appearance is very important to her. She likes to feel pretty and to, I don't know, do her hair and stuff like that. So I felt like a vanity would be cute for them. It did make it so that I barely had the space for a dresser, but I was able to place this very narrow dresser from Horse Ranch, again, kind of just like in the corner in front of the window. It fits a little awkwardly, but I feel like that really adds to the vibe of this room, so I went for it anyway. And then we just have all the powdery, cutesy colors going on in here. We have a nice fuzzy rug in here. I thought that was nice. And then upstairs I had I had the space for another full bathroom. This one is definitely a little bit bigger than the one downstairs, but I did want there to be another shower or tub in the house, so that's why I went for a not very magical looking wall-mounted shower in the downstairs bathroom. Up here, I have the space for a nice shower tub combo. I love using the one from Vampires for these specific Harry Potter builds because it just looks older and I guess a little bit more magical in that sense. I don't know. There's nothing magical about a shower, but you know what I mean? Like I feel like this fits the vibe nicely. And then here on the other side of the upstairs area, we have another bedroom. This one's a little smaller again, but I definitely have the space for a couple of single beds in here. I was going to do another double bed, but then I was like, no, I feel like it would be nice to have a bedroom with 2 single beds in it. I don't know, I just felt like that was a nice change of pace, and it's nice to have some different types of bedrooms in the house, not just double bedrooms, you know what I mean? So I thought this was nice, like a shared little room here. And this room's definitely very small, but I actually think it's one of my favorites. I don't know why, but I just really like the layout. I also am obsessed again with this bedding, also from Horse Ranch, the little sheep, the matching bed sheets on both beds. It's so cute. So yeah, I just thought that was so cozy. And then I just put some candles on the wall, some flowers, like a fresh bouquet of flowers. Leave it up to Fleur to make the guests feel like very welcome and at home, and have some fresh flowers in their guest room, you know. That's definitely something she would do. And then we just have some art in here, some tiny decorations and a little rug, of course. And then after that, that is essentially going to be it for this build. So let's jump in the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have Shell Cottage in the game. I feel like it looks so good on this lot. I know that this is not an ocean beach, it's more of like a lake, but I just feel like the surroundings fit this specific build perfectly with the rocks in the back, and I don't know, I just like the vibes. So that's why I chose to build it here. I tried to blend it into the best of my abilities. Thankfully, we do have a little bit of sand bordering this side of the lot, so that was nice. Not on this side though, but I feel like it's okay. It still looks kind of good. Now, I did use Batu for this build. I know I always try to stay away from using that game pack because just not a lot of people have it, but I used Batu because these rocks, these are debug rocks from the Journey to Batu game pack, and I just feel like they were so perfect for this specific build. They look very coastal and they look sort of like shells in a way. I don't know, so I had to go ahead and place those. The house is also described to have a lot of sea lavender, I think, going on around it, so I just went ahead and placed a lot of lavender in both purple but also white. We have some grass going on, a lot of rocks, and of course we had to put Dobby's grave, which is so heartbreaking, but yeah, I put it here on a little hill sort of, and I placed all these shells, some flowers, and a little candle on Dobby's grave. Rest in peace, buddy. And then as you can see, I placed some shells on the exterior of the house as well. So I sized some shells up here. I placed some of them here on the dormers as well. There's a small broom by the front door, a few wind chimes. I also sized up some wind chimes and placed them on the side. We have one here and also on this side of the house. I just thought that was so fun. I never use those wind chimes ever. I feel like I just always forget they exist, but they're really cute. So let's actually go inside. There's the tiniest front porch here with an outdoor bin that I actually placed after I had already uploaded it to the gallery. So when you download this build off the gallery, it doesn't have an outdoor bin, but it's very easy to just place one right here. And this way you can get a bit of an overview of the floor plan. So we have this really big hallway basically in the middle of the space, and then all these tiny rooms around it. So in the hallway here, we just have this entryway with another broom. There's a chair, an old mirror, and just your little entryway knickknacks here. I love this window from Life and Death, by the way. I just feel like it is so perfect and detailed for this house. So there's a staircase in this hallway, and then this archway over here basically leads you into the living room space, which is really small but definitely cozy. It's very light. I do like the pop of blue in the curtains. It's very coastal. So yeah, a nice couch to hang out. We have some clutter here, some board games, a cozy fireplace, and a rocking chair. There is a record player sort of here in the corner. No TV, of course, because it is a Harry Potter build. But yeah, there is a record player there and a bookcase, of course. This tiny archway basically leads you into another hallway. And then off of this hallway, we have a kitchen. So here we have the sort of tiny kitchen, but at the same time, it kind of feels a little spacious. There's a nice sink under the window. We have some fresh produce going on here. Hermione's polyjuice potions brewing. We have some other potions here. And then there's a really small back door here as well. And then just some clutter in this corner and obviously a trash can. Over on this side is the tiniest dining room. So it's only a 5-seater dining table, but I feel like that's fine. I feel like it's really cozy though. We have an owl sitting on all the letters here. We have some mail, and I barely had any space left over in here. I just placed a couple of china cabinets. There's another tiny hallway here leading you into this small bathroom. It is a full bathroom though. We just have a little open walk-in wall-mounted shower. So nothing fancy going on here, but definitely functional. And then this study/guest bedroom actually has 2 doors leading into it. I thought that would be nice for the routing of it all. So we have a door off of this tiny hallway, but also a door off of the main entryway. And this is just a really small office/guest bedroom. There is a very Hogwarts looking trunk in here and then just a single bed. And across from the office/guest bedroom is another guest bedroom with a double bed. So this one's a little bit more spacious. It has a makeshift reading nook here in the bay window. I feel like I would be sitting here all the time if I were in this house, you know? I would sit in this bay window all the time and just enjoy the view over the water. And then there's just a dresser and some clutter items here. Going upstairs, we have this nice open staircase. I was thinking maybe this is a portrait of Aunt Muriel that used to own this house. I'm not exactly sure. One of the Weasley ancestors, maybe. There's just this really tiny landing leading you into Bill and Fleur's bedroom over on this side. This one's very pink and pastel, but I think it's so cozy and definitely Fleur coated with all these little decorations above the bed, the flowery bed sheets, the little mirror. I don't know. I just think it's really cute. And then Fleur, of course, has her vanity over on this side, and then there is a small dresser and a full-size mirror on this end as well. Across the hall, first of all, we have this bathroom here, which is nothing special, but I did have the space for a nice shower tub combo in here. And then last but not least is another guest room. I really think that this is my favorite room of the house. I don't don't know why, but I just feel like it's so cozy. It has something to do with a little sheep on the bed sheets. I just think those are adorable. But in this room is a small dresser sort of across from the beds here with some clutter, a nice hanging plant, and a full-size mirror. But that is basically it for Shell Cottage. So Shell Cottage is up on the gallery. I actually really like the gallery thumbnail. That doesn't happen very often, but I feel like for this build specifically, it worked out really nicely. It comes in at just under 70,000 simoleons, so it's surprisingly very expensive, but it is pretty spacious. So I feel like it makes sense. It has 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms total, and I built it on a 30 by 20 in Windenburg on the dock den lot on the island in Windenburg. So if you want to place it in your game, then that's where it goes. But that's gonna do it for today's video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download this build off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmary Sims. You can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok if you'd like. My username on there is Simmary Sims. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so. And if you'd like to get notified of every single time I upload a video, just click that little bell icon. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/Simmary Sims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!